Welcome back to my show. This is Have I Told You the One About, but it's a special guest edition. Here is my special guest. It's my imaginary friend. I made an imaginary friend for you. Oh my God. Hi, Lise. Hi. Welcome. Today, Lise is going to tell us about falling from Belgo. Lise,
Yes,
how are you doing?
I'm good.
I'm so glad
Real
you
good.
I'm so glad you could join us.
Yes. First time for me, but always a first time for something,
It's first time for me too. If I had to lose my imaginary friend virginity to anybody, I'm glad it's you.
right?
Okay, you shoot. The floor is yours.
Okay, I am a bit of a storyteller, but I've never done it with the Zoom concept, but here we go. It's like I'm almost talking to myself. I was
That was
very,
a technological plug, but
yeah, yeah. Oh, okay, we
maybe
don't want
that
to do that.
maybe they'll give us money.
I was a very young mum when we first moved to the Okanagan. We drove from Manitoba to BC and met some friends in Okanagan Center.
Who's we?
And me and David, my partner, who's from Gaspésie. I'm from Winnipeg, Saint
Okay.
Boniface, actually. And we had friends living in a bus, hippie style, in the 70s on the side of Okanagan Lake in Okanagan Center. So we met them there and immediately got a job in the fruit picking industry. Everything was all new to us. It was warm. There was peaches and cherries, and we had a tent on the side of Okanagan Lake
Is that where you
and lived
slept
in
in?
there. Yes, we
You
lived
lived in
in
a
there and
tent?
lived in a tent. That was our first place where we were.
For how
And I
long?
mean, when you're like 19, it's all adventure, and there's a bunch of other young people working in the orchard as well. So we lived in the tent from, I would say, early April till September, when it started getting colder. And working for the Whiskey farm, they then said, well, you can continue to work for us, but we moved to a picker's cabin that they had on their parents' property. So we were living in a cabin that was on blocks. It had no water, no electricity, big windows for the cold air to come in. But hey, when you're young, you don't think of those things. You're just kind of living on your free spirit and love, lots of love,
So
which brings me.
where did you get the water from? Like how'd you take baths?
Well, you had to haul water,
Oh,
and
okay. From the
you
lake?
couldn't go, like, it was a cabin, but nothing was hooked up.
You
So
hauled
there was
water
no electricity. You had to haul water, and
from
then
where?
there was a biffy, of course, right?
A
So we
witch?
would use the biffy.
What's a biffy?
A biffy is an outhouse, of course, and we would haul the water from in back of the old Polish couple. So that was our farmers' parents, who were immigrants from Poland. It was Molly and Gus, and so we were living, like, I would say, just sort of like off in their backyard. So we would get the water from, their house, and then we would use the biffy. But as I said, when you're young, it doesn't really matter. But this young, adventurous woman got pregnant. So I was
How'd that
very
happen?
pregnant over that winter.
Tell me more about how that happened. Slow the story
Oh,
down.
well, that is an XX rated explicit,
Okay, I'm sorry.
which I'm sure you can imagine. At any rate, we're going to come back to our story,
Yeah.
falling from Belgo. So now we are April in the Okanagan. Things are flowering, and my hair is all long and free. And we didn't have much money back then because they never paid that much for working in the orchard. And so I would go to thrift shops, and there was never any dresses that fit with my big belly. So I would just buy nighties, these little old lady nighties with little flowers on them.
Oh man, I
And,
wish I could see that.
well, just so happens.
What? A little further back. Oh, you're pregnant.
That's me, very pregnant, which is the beginning of Falling from Belgo story. So we had to go into town, which was Winfield back then, to buy, things that you need to buy. And we had a Volkswagen when we first arrived. And then David purchased an old GMC truck from the Belgo service station, which was on Belgo Road in Rutland, in the Okanagan. So anybody who is long time, 40 years ago, familiar with that area in Rutland, there was a little service station there like they used to have. Community garage where you could get gas, and they had this old flat deck truck. So we had this truck for a while, and not being mechanically inclined and not really giving a damn about rust or what it looked like, we had to, the passenger's door did not close properly. It had a space to it. So what you do is you just fix it in whichever way you can. So we had a very big yellow rope, and we tied it to the base of, like, the shaft below the steering wheel, the big white steering wheel with the gears on that shaft. And the big yellow rope went across the passenger and with a loop hooked onto the big silver handle on the passenger's side.
Okay.
So you can get a visual of that.
Yeah.
Big yellow rope, and that rope holds the door closed.
It's kind of like a second. It's like a second seatbelt.
Well, no, not really. Not that close. It just goes right in front of you.
Okay.
And then hooks onto the handle. So it keeps the door closed. So I'm sitting sort of against the seat, but I have a big belly, right? Because I'm like 8 months pregnant. And so here we are driving, and David says he's going to go and get the food. And I thought, okay, I'll just roll down the window and sit in the parking lot and wait for David. Here is David driving.
Oh. Back it up a little again. Oh, yeah, there we go. That's him driving on the same day of this story.
That's right. That's the Belgo truck.
That is amazing.
Long hippie hair, and, straw hats. You're just living the dream, working in the Okanagan. So David goes and buys the food, comes back into the truck. We're getting ready to go. We're in the parking lot. And for some ridiculous reason, why do young men seem to do this at times? He decided, seeing as there was no cars around, he was going to test the force or the drive of the Belgo truck. So he puts it in drive and pushes on the gas and pulls a donut with the truck, like you do in the wintertime.
Yeah.
Pull the donut and the truck whips around. Well, that big yellow rope was not expecting this surge of speed and slips off the silver handle of the Belgo truck. The door flies open, and the beautiful young pregnant girl goes flying out the door, rolling onto the parking lot like a bowling ball. So David immediately slams on the brake, realizes he's done the worst thing he could ever do, comes around the corner, can barely speak. I'm just getting up. And he goes, "Are you okay?" And I say, "Yes." And then I look at him, and when he realizes that I'm okay, what happens? Human nature, he bursts out laughing because I must have looked so beautiful. A rolling bowling ball with my big nighty dress. I was so angry with him. I just slowly got up and looked at him, and if looks could kill, oh my God, I was very, very angry. Basically, I just wiped off a little bit of gravel off my knee, and I had a little rip in my beautiful nighty dress, and got back in the truck, put the big yellow noose back on the handle, still never said nothing. there must have been steam coming out of my ears, and David couldn't apologize enough in French, in English, in broken English, again in Quebecois slang, how sorry he was. I think I didn't speak to him for almost the rest of that afternoon. And that is the story of falling from Belgo. And it is absolute truth, every part of it.
I love that story. And your baby was fine.
Oh, yes. My baby now is turning 40 at the end of May. Can you believe that?
Oh, we want to say happy birthday to him?
Well, it's end of May, but we can do that. Happy birthday, Daddy!
That's so sweet. I love this story. This is a great story, mostly because it's a happy ending.
It is. That's true. Very lucky. And learning from mistakes.
Well, thank you, Lise, with your amazing story, Falling from Belgo. You hang out there for me, imaginary friend. I've just got to do a couple little businessy things. Yeah, you want to help me?
Sure.
Okay, so tomorrow's story, we have a new guest. It's the Kenny sisters. And that is my imaginary friend, Denise, who's going to come in and tell us about the Kenny sisters. You can like this page, share it if you like, share some other story if you want on your social media. You can send me emails I can forward them to Lise if you want to send a little note to Lise. You can send me emails or Lise emails at michaelvsmith.com. Me and my imaginary friends are very tight, so we communicate in regular. Or you can tweet at michaelvsmith.com. And you can, who knows where the notification... Do you want to sound like a notification bell, Lise? Do you got a bell inside you?
I do.
Go. There. You can click the notification bell, which sounds like that, if you want to know when I'm going to go live. And here's your selfie time. You can send a selfie. You can take a selfie with either of us. I think you omit me and take a selfie with... Oh, look, I'll get out of the frame. You can take a selfie with Lise. Smile, Lise. And we'll see you tomorrow for a brand new version of Have I Told You the One About? See you later. Bye, friends. Mwah.